your cell phone during school hours? Cell phones shouldn't be banned from schools. School policies have been that you can't use your cell phones for as long as I can remember. But now, schools are looking at other options. 60% of Americans today own smartphones. This is why teachers should use them as learning tools in education systems, because they are so common. I will be going over 3 points on why I think cell phones should not be banned. 1, cell phones need to be classroom tools. 2, education needs to keep up with the times. And 3, cell phones can be used for homework. Just like a calculator or a pencil, cell phones can be used as learning tools. This is where my first point comes in. Cell phones can be classroom tools. An article published by the National Education Association talks about Ken Holla. In this article, it states that he has his students use cell phones in class because they are not always able to use the laptops that they provide for them. This way, they can get their research done and not have to worry about what days they get the laptops and what days they don't. They also download apps for educational purposes. Mr. Holla encourages teachers and students to download these apps onto their phones. Another article by Tiffany Tunnell states that there are literally thousands of cell phone apps available now, most at no charge for educational purposes. You can find timers, calculators, or even apps that keep track of assignments for you. Mr. Holla recommends 2, Remind 101 and PollEverywhere.com. These apps help you keep track of your assignments by sending out notices to you, and it's an app that lets you ask questions to the teacher, and then the teacher can respond without having to give them their cell phone number or having to email them. This is my first reason why I believe cell phones shouldn't be banned in schools, because I think they should be learning tools. We are using cell phones more and more. While schools are learning that cell phones are learning tools, some are not. I believe education needs to keep up with the times, much like cell phones are being used as learning tools. This is where my second step comes in. The second is that education needs to keep up with the times. In a September 1st, 2011 article by Education Week, they say that they are now coming up with more education games instead of education software. This way, they can download the apps on different iPads or phones instead of having to buy the software and having each teacher have to download that certain software. This is helping them save money, and this way they can download educational-based games without having to go through the process of buying the software. This helps students map their futures, their career paths, and a lot of teachers have helped develop these games so they can they can look further into the future and figure out what they want to do with their lives. The National Science Foundation has took on a big role with helping fund science games for teachers. They put in real-world situations at low cost and help them realize what their environment is going to be someday. These apps come with time, but they hope to help students learn, be familiar with these games as they will have to be in their future. For my second point, I touched on how education needs to come with the times. We have all this technology today, but sometimes we don't use it in our education systems. I feel like teachers need to bring phones into the classroom, which concludes onto my third point. My third point is that cell phones can be used for homework. In an academic journal by Brad McInnis and published by Taylor and Francis Ltd., he explains the potential that cell phones have and the effects they have on children. There's so much untapped potential with cell phones today. Brad says that 71% of 12 to 17-year-olds have a cell phone, and that low-income families are more bound to use their cell phones for research at home rather than a computer. This is another reason why cell phones should be allowed in schools. If students are going to use them at home, why can't they use them at school too? In the same article, it states that texting has increased over the past few years. Most students have unlimited texting, which gets them as many texts to and from as they want. This would help with group assignments and communicating back and forth through research. This way they would be able to have another reason to use their phones, but with educational purposes. The number has gone from 27 to 54% of use of texting outside of school. So if they're texting this much, they can text to have group assignments, communicate with each other, and use them for educational purposes. So this is why they should let them use it during class. My third point proves that cell phones are used for homework, and they should be used in school. So if cell phones are used outside of school, why keep them away during school? And use them for educational purposes. So let's review my points. Cell phones are used for absolutely everything these days. There's internet, there's games, there's different apps, social media. Even this class, Speech 101, we use an app called Twitter for communication. You, our teacher, tweet and we look at those tweets. Why we can get information and know when our homework is done. We use it to communicate, which is an app. Twitter is an app found on our phone, which why can't we use our phones during school if it's helping us find information for our education? Cell phones should not be banned in schools. I will review my points. 1, cell phones can be used as classroom tools. 2, education needs to keep up with the times. And 3, cell phones can be used for homework. These are the reasons why I believe cell phones should not be banned in schools.